Our community connection continues in St. Pete tonight. This evening, Josh Sidorowicz is looking at concerns in one waterfront neighborhood.
Yeah, Court, a big reason, of course, that a lot of people love living here is because of how close it is to the bay, but that can also be a big problem. Shore Acres, as we know, is known to flood, and when it does, it floods badly. The city has been meeting with neighbors and laying out options to try to help them keep their property dry, but some of those, they come at a major cost. And so 10 Investigates' Jennifer Titus is digging deeper into those options here tonight.
Yeah, unfortunately, even a heavy rainstorm can cause flooding here in Shore Acres. Why? Well, we have to talk about the beginning of this neighborhood. It's the lowest lying neighborhood in St. Pete, developed in the 1920s before city standards were put in place. And when those standards came about in the 50s, many times builders often ignored elevation recommendations, leaving people now to decide whether or not to elevate themselves. What we've uncovered is that that could come at a big cost and lots of red tape. How high has the water gotten here?
The water for Adalia got pretty high. You can still see a little bit of the line here where the water came up to, which is puts about 6 inches of water in our house.
In the past 3 years, Megan Martin says her family home has flooded not once, but twice.
It's a hit that it's a punch in the stomach. And it hurt emotionally to know that we were going through this process again so soon after the first one, and then replacing all of the stuff and the cabinets in the kitchen. It was a lot.
It's why the Martins and so many of their neighbors that don't want to leave the community know they need a solution to the water problem.
The city brought FEMA in to talk about the grant options, and we've talked about raising it to protect ourselves from floods because realistically there's not much other mitigation options available.
FEMA's program to raise a home falls under the agency's Flood Mitigation Assistance Grant, and as 10 Investigates has uncovered, it's a lengthy application process. First, the homeowner has to apply through their local government. Then the approved applications go to the Florida Department of Emergency Management. And if approved there, the applications then makes its way to FEMA.
That process could take a year. It could take up to 2 or 3 years, depending upon the complexity of the projects that they're submitting within that state's entire application.
So it's a process. I think that's the biggest thing we hear from people that are like, we just went and did it ourselves and paid for our own raise, because it just takes way too long to hear whether or not we've been approved.
It is a process, and the timeline, again, varies by project type.
Data we obtained from the city shows 9 homes have been brought into compliance by elevating or tearing down and building new construction. This home, located just down the street from the Martins, was awarded the grant in 2020 and are just now in the process of raising their home. It's that timeline that led the Martins to decide to pay to raise their home themselves.
The house is going to go all the way up. It'll be 12 feet high, so there'll be enough space underneath that we can put a garage and storage space.
It'll be around $250,000, but they say it's worth it because with hurricane season just months away, time is of the essence.
It just needs to happen at this point because if we don't, we're going to do it again.
And again, that FEMA money is available to anyone who wants to apply. But again, the city is very focused on raising the homes here in Shore Acres because they cannot raise roads until the homes are raised. Because if they were to raise the roads first, that would just cause even more flooding. For now, we're in Shore Acres. Jennifer Titus, 10 Investigates.
So in 2003, 4 homeowners applied for the grant in St. Pete, and the state just recently passed their applications to FEMA last month. Senator Nick DeSigli told us that he is looking for ways to try to streamline this process. We'll stay on top of it.